Hey guys, Aerithia here with Planet Coaster, episode 16, I believe. Man, this is my longest running series so far. That's actually pretty cool. So one of my viewers asked me, I think about 2 episodes ago, if I could show off the cave in the dark as well. So we have the entrance to the fairy tale area right here. See, now this path is a little bit off because of what we did on the inside. But let's just go through the portal. Still fun to do, and you can actually see that the idea that I had already with the style is kind of coming to fruition in this park. So let's go in. You go to the portal, and you have this cave. And I really like how this portal looks on this side. Very overgrown. I should actually do that also on the other side. This cave in general is very overgrown and a lot of lights in here. So let me just take you through here. We have the witch over here. And then you go down this path. You have a few of these dreads lying around sleeping. I wish we had more animatronics, man. That's something I'm honestly often like, oh, give me some more animatronics. But yeah, this whole idea kind of came from this ride, of course. It's pretty clear. You have these dreads pulling forward these cars and the witch. So I kind of kept to that theme and designed my whole area around that. You have another path going down on this side, of course. Everything is still closed because I was having a lot of issues with my PC, of course, like I mentioned before. I upgraded it to 16 gigs of RAM, and you can see my game is actually running fine. And I still have some frame drops every now and then, some freezes, but that's mainly my CPU. When I put it on play, there's just so much going on, so I think it's pretty normal for a game like this at the level of detail I'm working on already that it has some problems. As long as I can build, I'm good. Yeah, let's move on to outside. And all these lights in here, by the way, I do want to mention that. I think I mentioned it once before, but let me just show you. Look at this mess. It's all in one building. Let's see. So you have these lights, and I put them on black, which is pretty weird, but it still gives off light, and it kind of gives this really nice feel for the cave. I don't know why, but I feel like it's the perfect lighting for this cave, and I really like how this looks. Of course, we have the witch flying over here as well. Really cool. So let's go to this side first. And I think this should be viewed in the dark actually, so that was a really good point. I changed up this area a little bit. I added a lot more stuff to it. Also, when you go up over here, you see all the plants and rocks on top of these mountains as well. It's just a lot of work, and I actually spent quite some hours on just making this all look finished. But I decided to put some spooky trees in here, some of these plants that I also used in the Forgotten Realms, and that's actually the reason why I didn't want to do that at first, because I already kind of did that, and I mentioned before it's kind of bothering me that I'm repeating stuff. I don't like to repeat stuff that I already did. But still, this is the best feel for this. You can see how the witch's house looks with all the vines coming out of it, and I didn't see a reason to not use them. Some of them I use them without the spooky faces, just so it looks like a creepy tree, and that fits pretty well. It's just a little adjustment that fits really well. You have this archer shooting at the witch, and we have some knights. Excuse me. We have some knights on this side, and I think over there as well. Or I forgot to put them over there, I guess. We have some here. And I'm lost. I'm too close. Ah, here. And the idea kind of was is they can live in peace over there, except for the archers are now shooting at them, because maybe they try to escape this area. The idea kind of is they need to stay where they live, because they can disturb the fairy tale kingdom or forest. So now we have the fairy tale forest on this side. This looks really magical in the dark. I absolutely love what I did here. We had this fairy tale tree, of course, this fairy tree that the whole idea came from to do this. And I just spent some time making all these mushrooms and a few more of these threads lying around. We have these mushrooms and all these plants, and I made this tree a while ago. We have the icing that I used for kind of crazy plant-like fairy tale thingies. I don't know what you would even call them. Over here it's still pretty empty. This is something we're gonna work on this episode. There's gonna be another ride in here. I think it's the hyper spin, so we're gonna work on that and a skin for it, but depending on how long this real-time part is gonna be is kinda, yeah, how long of a speed build part I can put in this episode. We have all these kinds of mushrooms and fairies around. I still wish this could be like a glowing ball or something. That would just look so much cooler. We have this lamppost that I made, and I will show you in a little bit, but everything you see in here, all the plants and fairies and things like that will all be in a blueprint. The fairies are of course with the fairy tree that you can already download as a blueprint. But all these plants and things that I used, mushrooms, lampposts, signposts, I'm making a blueprint for you guys so you can use that. So that is kind of the fairy tale forest in here. I can show you the ride up close, which is really cool. The station, I love the station, and I love all these little details. It really does feel like a fairy forest type of thing. I really like it. We have this over here that I made, this little fountain with the princess, and I kind of came up with an idea. You always need to have a story in your head if you want to create awesome stuff. At least that works really well for me. Like the princess was maybe a fairy, and the fairies believe that they have a fairy tale princess who used to be a fairy, something like that, and I kind of built from that point on. So the princess will be there, of course, in the castle area, but maybe they believe she was once a fairy, or she's descended from fairies, I don't know. So the cave is pretty basic. We have some colored lights in here. I added some stuff to it that just didn't fit on the blueprint anymore, so I added some more of this, these little details. I added some of the pink lights, so it fits just a little bit better with this forest. Otherwise it just stands out. Everything is really colorful, and this wasn't at all. So I don't know how much of this you will be able to see from the ride. I think this part, it's very hard to see because you're so high up, but we do have some details in here. All these mushrooms and plants, like I already said, and that is my processor and not my RAM, so that's the kind of thing I'm still experiencing, but it's okay. And we have some more over here. We have some of these water effects in here that are on triggers, but you won't be able to see them that well in the dark. So after I figured that out, I was like, I'm not gonna spend too much time on triggers for this ride. I think it's good as it is. And now that I know that, I will just know that for the next time as well. So you can kind of see the ending of the ride over here, which is really cool. This is the way you come in from. I love this view over here. So this real time is going on already for a little while, and we won't have much time for speed build anymore, so I'm gonna put it to daytime. No. Come on. I think I want to put it to 1 p.m. I feel like that's probably the best lighting to have. Not too reflective, not too bright, and really good. So yeah, this is how it looks in daytime. And then the last thing I want to show you is maybe a little bit of an overview of this. Sometimes hard to know where you are if you're that up close. So I think this is a pretty good area so far, and it's a good start to this park. Then over here we have the blueprint I was talking about. We're gonna work on something in this episode that will also be a blueprint, again with the 2000 pieces, because I'm always at max. 2000 is just not enough for me. I almost didn't put this one up as a blueprint because I feel like it's not completely finished. I would have liked to add some more detail to it, but yeah, you will be able to download this blueprint. Oh, and there's still a wing over here. This is how I made the wing for this fountain for the princess. So you have this gazebo fountain thingy, this gate I made, some signposts, a lamppost. These ones you can adjust a little bit. I adjusted them just a little bit so you can use them from different sides or how many signs you want on them. We have these bushes over here, like I said, that I made, and it's just very easy to use. You can just copy stuff over like this and duplicate it, maybe rotate it a little bit and just place it down. So that way you have a lot of options to use these over and over again. That's how I use it. I only made this and I just copied it over many different times. Same for the mushrooms, you can just copy over this piece. They have lights underneath them so they shine. You can change the color of the lights, you can change the color of the mushroom to use it in different ways. We have two of these with the flower lights in them and with the mushrooms in them, so they have their own light. And this one, it's actually really cool how I made these with this item over here, this oval, and I just got it a little bit down and you can see it up here. It's really cool. It's like a good mushroom to me with just the primitive items. So yeah, that's the blueprint you will be able to use this episode and the thing that I'm gonna show you right now in speed build. So let's move on and we'll see if we get to work on the village in this episode, or I'm gonna move it to episode 17 because this real-time part is going on already for a little bit. So yeah, let's move on, guys. Alright, getting in here right away, moving this piece out of the way. I thought I set this apart so I could use some more of the stuff, so I wouldn't have to make more of these details, but that was no such luck because I have to make a lot more of it for this gazebo kind of ride skin that we're doing. You can use this for the hyperspin. I bet you can use this for other rides as well, or just plainly as a gazebo. It will look really cool and it will look really good with the water rapid station as well. But yeah, you can also use it separately. It's gonna be exactly 2,000 pieces again. I think that's gonna be something we're gonna experience a lot, but yeah, I already made the frame for this. I decided to skip that part because it's very long and precise, and so you can see what I did. I basically made a frame, I measured it out a little bit for as far as you can do that actually within a game like this, of course. But it's a really good thing to be a little bit precise with something like this so you don't run into many troubles at the end of it. I still had some overlapping when I copied over half of it, which you will see later on, but it actually kind of worked out because it looks kind of nice. And it the entrance for the queue line fits precisely within that tinier spot, so yeah, that is good. As you can see here, the rotations are a little bit weird because it's angled, and this just takes ages to get right. So yeah, you can see over here how I did this, but most of it I skipped, so you won't have to deal with that. It's pretty clear what I did. It's not like it's a very complicated frame so far. So we're just gonna make this one piece and then copy it over and rotate it. This actually took me such a long time because it just didn't want to go as well as I wanted it to, but I skipped all that so you don't see that. But this was actually really hard. Making something that's kind of round is generally really hard in a game like this because you don't really have a grid for it. So yeah, a little skip over here. As you can see, I already did some of this detailing on the lower part of this. I sped this up quite a bit more so you don't have to watch this again like last episode. It takes a little bit of time, of course, to make tiny little details like these. So I just show you this part and how I copy that over to the right side as well. So yeah, I decided to speed this up quite a bit more so you can see what I did, but not too much of it so it gets boring. So I copied this over to the other side, and like I said, the rotation is really weird when you're doing something like this. So it was really hard to get it in place, but yeah, you won't see any of that because I make it easy for you guys to see what happens and make it look really fast. So we just start with 3 pieces, copy over that part so it's a half, and then make a hole out of it. And yeah, like I said, it looks really easy right now, but man, this was some job. The thing is, I'm really determined when I start something like this, and I need to get it done, no matter what it takes. So even if I have to build it again 6 times, I will do that. But yeah, this was a really hard job, and it looks so much easier right now when I'm rewatching this in speed build. So you saw that we had a little bit of overlapping over here, and that looks really kind of cool. Yeah, I like it. It's kind of an accident, but yeah, worked out really well. So we'll do a little bit of the detailing since I didn't show you at all what I did here and how easy it is to copy all this stuff over, change the colors of it. And we'll just finish this whole forest area and then we can move on to the village. So I do want to show you the first building I will be making. I wanted to put 2 buildings in here, but since the real-time part took a little bit longer than I wanted it to, it always seems to be around 10 minutes. So I can do it any shorter than that because I do want to tell you guys some stuff in real time that I can do in speed build. So this speed build part is gonna be a little bit shorter because we had a longer real-time part. So I think I mentioned it in the real-time part that we will use the lookout thingy of the water rapid station again, but for the bridge. I decided not to show you that in speed build because it just takes up some more time, and it's actually the same building, just adjusted it a little bit so it looks like a bridge. Looks really cool. I will show you that in the next real-time part, which is probably not going to be in next episode, but the one after that. I'm trying to kind of mix it up, so we have one episode that's fully speed build and then one with real-time part within it. So I think that works best for now, and I can always change that if that's not the case anymore. But yeah, just finishing up the forest over here and the smaller details, so this part is really done. I did want to have something special within this gazebo, and I still had some space left for some more objects in there, so I decided to make some of these hanging lights with this, I think it's an electrical cable or something, and I just put a light on it. I attached it to a block with a grid that I always use for that, so I can put that in the blueprint, but for this one I had to attach it to this building. So we just do that and copy some of them over, and then we have these hanging lights from the ceiling, which looks really awesome, and we will have a chandelier in the middle of it, so that looks really cool. It just gives this building something a little bit special. Here I made off screen something to cover up the top piece of it, and it's nothing special. So, and that's the blueprint you will be able to download from now on, together with the fairy tale stuffies, so you can get that now if you want to. Starting off with a toilet building because I watch all the Planet Coaster live streams and everyone seems to love toilets so much, so let's start out with a toilet building. And I think I'm gonna do a lot of blueprints for the fairy tale area, guys. I finally feel like I can make some blueprints, and this is something that just comes pretty easily to me, so I think I'm just gonna upload some of these houses as well, and we'll have a nice collection of fairy tale stuff, which makes me really happy because I feel like up to this point we haven't really had the chance to work with a lot of blueprints because I was just so focused on kind of setting the vibe for this park, if that makes sense, with all the stuff that's integrated into the terrain. But for the fairy tale area we're working on some smaller things that are just really worth uploading, so I'm doing that. I'm really happy that we finally are at that point that we can do that. I'm gonna be using a lot more colors for these fairy tale houses. It's not something you're used to of my building style, I guess. I'm always kind of working in black and whites or black and grays, and yeah, more in the brownish colors with woods and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm feeling confident, and I'm kind of looking forward to building with some more colored kind of buildings, walls and stuff like that. Something that feels just a little bit off to me. I think I feel more comfortable in some color schemes than others. And I really like colors, it's not that, but I also just really like colors that fit well together, which is pretty normal, standard kind of color. So brownish tints and with sand kind of colors and black and whites and grays and stuff like that. That's something I feel really comfortable with for some reason. But for this village, I think I'm gonna just give every building a main color and work with that a little bit. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, and I think it's gonna look really good. And I think we're gonna use a lot of wood for every building because that makes it just really feel like a village building to me. So we're gonna be working with a lot of these wooden details, and I still will be using a lot of these wooden brackets because I'm kind of used to it now, and it makes such a nice addition of detail to a building. So I think that fits really well. Since this episode is running a little bit long already, I'm just going to show you this one building in a little bit more detail than I would normally do it probably. And look, it's a Triforce. Oh man, Breath of the Wild is on my mind constantly. And I'm really frustrated right now because I simply can't afford to buy a Switch right now. I would love to do a let's play with Osira, and that's something we're probably gonna do, even though it's probably gonna be a little bit later than other people. But we still need to buy a capture card as well, so that's gonna be a Switch, it's gonna be Zelda, it's gonna be a Pro controller, a capture card, maybe a better mic, and it's gonna be a big investment, so we can start doing some more games that we actually really want to do for this channel. But for now, we're just gonna have to take it a little bit slow because it's just a lot to invest in. If you really want to do this, be a gamer on YouTube, and after 8 months right now, I can say I absolutely love what I'm doing, and I would love to be able to do this as work, make my money out of being a YouTuber. And I think at first you have to be a little bit careful that you don't buy too much stuff. It's really easy to get swept up in the whole thing of I need the best equipment, I need the best stuff. I already had a good gaming PC, so that was no problem for me. But you have to know that you really want to do this because it takes up a lot of your time. I actually don't really have a lot of free time anymore. My free time is spent on YouTube. So yeah, I really want to do this. So now we just need some stuff and it's gonna take a little bit of time to save up for that. So things are running a little bit slower on the channel than I would have liked to see at this point, but yeah, we'll get there guys. We're gonna be playing a lot of games. Up to this point you've only seen me play Planet Coaster, but that's gonna change very soon. Sorry for the rant. I'm done. I want to play Zelda. I'm done. But yeah, that is almost it for this episode, guys. This is the first fairy tale village building, and we're gonna be doing a lot more. I will probably only show you bits and pieces of it because it gets pretty tedious to watch, I guess. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Here's the POV of the ride, and I will see you on the next one.